Hello friends, today we shall discuss about application layout in Python. Depending on the requirements, we can have different layouts. At first, we shall examine about command line applications layouts. So, command line applications are usually simple. They can contain single file application. They can have only single file and they can also have some packages in it, and usually these applications are simple and doesn't have many files in it. There are also applications which have multiple packages, and if we talk about web applications, the web application usually contains many directories related to static or media files, directly related to controllers and templates. And if I talk about GUI application layouts, so Python has many GUI frameworks, so layouts will depend also on the framework and also on the complexity of the GUI project. So let us examine the layouts in detail now. So friends, let us examine a layout of a single file application. So this is my virtual environment. Let me create a folder here. Let us assume that hello world has a single file only. So let me create a file here. You can see that it is a simple script app, or it may have few function in it. Let me define a simple function in it. So usually if you are creating a single file application, it will have a Python file, but the professionals also create some supporting files which are essentials if you are releasing your application to public. For example, we can also have here readme.md, which have all the information about your application. So you can define all the description and all the uses of your application here, and you can also create other files here, like you can also have a license file. So just create a license file here and paste your license here, and you can also have a requirements.txt file which have all the requirements of the modules which this application need to run. And you can also have a setup.py which will hold some description about how you can set up this application. Okay, and you can also have test.py which which can have some test which can be conducted before running this application. And I also recommend having a gitignore file here which will ignore some files so it doesn't get submitted to the Git repo. So you can type the names of the files which you do not want to commit to the Git repo. So you can see that basically it is a single file application. It has only one file, helloworld.py, but other files are just supporting files, and these are needed when you are actually releasing your application to the public in a very professional way. So this is a simple example, but we can also see your application can be also complicated. Maybe it has some packages in such a way your layout will differ. For example, let me create a package here, hello world, and let me delete this and let me create a folder here, and I should rename it like I am renaming it to start.py, and I shall create here a folder to hold my package hello world, and it will contain a file which will tell the Python that it is a package, and inside it I shall create another file hello world.py which will have my actual code. So you can see we have updated our layout. Now this layout contains a Python package. Okay, and then to start the application we have to just run this file start.py. So application has become now an application which have some internal package. There are also applications which have multiple packages. Let me rename our this application. Let me close these files. I rename our application, say hello world advanced. So we can create now different packages here, like hellos. So we are creating different packages, and inside hellos directory we have another file hellos.py. So this is one package. There is already package 1, and we can also create another package word. Let me create a file here. Let me create a module file here. So you can see that it has become a complicated layout. We have now 3 packages here, hellos, hello world, and world. So the application has become now application with multiple internal packages. And if we talk about web applications which are somewhat more complicated, so let us try to examine layout of a web application. Let me activate my environment. Let us examine the layout of a web application, and let me clear my screen and let us install a package here. I'm installing Django here, which is a popular web framework for Python. So let me clear my screen here and let me start a new project here. Hello Web project. So you can see here that a layout had been created. Hello Web project contains another Hello Web project, which is a package and it contains all the essential files which are required to run this project. But it it can be quite complicated also, because usually a web application can contain different packages or different apps. For example, let me create another app here. Let me create yet another app. So a web application can contain different apps here. So you can examine that a web application can be quite complicated, and it has manage.py file which is needed to run the application, and it has settings.py file which is mainly required to save all the config for the project. And you can see web application have this views files which contains all the controllers and the presentation layers for the application. This is models.py which contain all the database uh, information, all the fields and the data and the Python layer which is used to interact with the database. So you can see the web application can be quite complicated, and usually in Python we have different frameworks which have the facilities to generate web layout. So Django has already provided us the tool to create a beautiful layout, and this is the one layout you can use. And beside this, you can create another folders here, like I will create a static folder here to keep the static files, and I shall also create a media folder here to save all the file uploaded by the users. And this static folder can have subfolders like JS, like CSS. So you can also have one test folder here for holding the test cases, and you can also have one server folder to contain files which will run as a background process on the server. You can also have a templates folder to save all the templates used in the application, in the web application. Let me close these files. So we have examined now our layout for a web application, and let me tell you what should be the layout of a GUI application. Let me create another folder, GUI Hello App project. So let me create some folders here like bin. Let me create another folder here, docs. Let me create another folder here, data. Test. Hello world. And let me create some files here like gitignore license, and let me create a one readme file. So you can see that there are we have created different folders, and this is just a standard layout. The layout will also depend on the framework you are using, because to create a GUI application we have different frameworks for Python. Depending on the framework you have used, the layout may differ. So we have a bin folder which will contain some executables, and we have also have a data folder which may have some files like reads.csv. It can be any file, so it can have contain files which is needed by the application to run. So these are usually data files, and we can also have some uh, docs here, which is essentials to examine by a user to run the application. So we can have our real packages here which will be needed to execute the application, and we can have tests here, and then these are all usual files which we have already discussed earlier. So this is just a standard layout which are usually used by the professional to create a GUI application or any complex command line applications. So I think I have delivered you the best knowledge. If you have any issue, please let me know in the comment box. Thank you and goodbye.